Salut, David Wallimann here, and today I want to talk to you about your frustration. Well, maybe not you, but I have talked to a lot of players who are really frustrated because they feel that their musicianship is at an advanced level, yet they're not making a living with their music. First of all, before I get into the meat of this video, I want to tell you that if you're not making a living with your music, it does not mean that you're a bad musician. As a matter of fact, I know tons of musicians who, in my opinion, are virtuosos, who are incredible instrumentalists, composers, and technical players. They still have their daytime job. Does that make less of a player of these people? Absolutely not. So if that's you, let's get that out of the way. Your musicianship ability has nothing to do with the income you're making. You can make sandwiches for a living. I did for a long time, and still be an incredible musician. Your musicianship is not defined by how much money you make. So what do I want to talk to you about? I want to talk to you about what it takes to make money with your music. 20, 30 years ago, things were very different. I started playing at the end of that era in the early 90s, where you started playing with a band, you did the gig thing, played as many gigs as you could, and got a following, started to build things up, and from there, you eventually would make an income. Today, things are very different. Things don't work like that. Of course, there are exceptions, but if you want to make an income with your music or your art, there's an easier route, and it does not have to do with the amount of hours you spend on your instrument. It doesn't have to do with the amount of scales you know. And if you're going the gig route, playing as many gigs as you can to get a following and start making an income, you're gonna get burned out. That happened to thousands of players I know. It's just not gonna work. You're always gonna chase the next gig. Those gigs really don't pay very much. And that was me 12 years ago. I was always chasing the next gig, trying to find the band that will help me reach the next level. I have played a lot of gigs in France. I have done all those things, setting up gear, tearing up gear, playing in front of an audience, thousands and thousands of hours of practice, rehearsal, and all that to try to achieve the status of professional musician. I am a professional musician in the sense that what I do has to do with music, and I get paid for that. Today in 2016, I'm making way more money than I used to 10 years ago when I was playing in bars, gigging, rehearsing, scheduling practices, all those things. And I hate to say it, but if I had to condense my weekly work completely without wasting any time, I could do it in 2 hours. So I am not saying that to brag at all. I don't think I'm the only one responsible for that. I believe in a higher power that helps me through these things. However, I really believe that there are things that you can do to reach that level of freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of worrying about where you're gonna find the next gig. And it all starts with a mindset. Before I continue, some of you watching this might be thinking, David's on this weird philosophical trip again. It's all about the mindset and blah, 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 blah. I need practical steps. You'll find that, but you've got to start with the mindset. And that mindset is the entrepreneurship mindset. Not everybody has it. That mindset can take a lot of different forms, but if I had to condense that mindset with a single question, it would be this: how can I produce a very high quality product with the least amount of effort and sell it for the most amount of money? That's the question that an entrepreneur should ask himself continuously. That's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, and that opened new doors, new personal doors, new ideas. This is not a system. This is not a method that's gonna work for everyone, because I believe that everyone is unique, and each entrepreneur is gonna have his own ideas, his own attractions, his own paths, his own doors that are gonna open. But I think it should start with that question. Obviously, I know that it's not as easy as it sounds. It's really not. It is a lot of work, and those doors that are gonna open to you are gonna take effort. You're gonna have to walk through these doors, make some mistakes, take another door. And I also know that a lot of you have an 8-to-5 job that you need to carry through to pay the bills, and at the same time have that dream of becoming an independent, fruitful musician, professional musician who can make a living with that. I was there. I had to carry on my 8-to-5 job that I absolutely hated. It was in a calling center at the time. And I worked at nights, just 1 hour here, 2 hours there. But a lot of that work has to do with thinking. So that means that you can do that type of work anywhere you're at. For me, I took long walks and just thought about that. How can I produce something with quality with the least amount of effort and sell it, monetize that for the most amount of money possible? Asking that question continuously gave me a better idea of what my business would look like. In order to sell something, you needed a product, but you also needed a following. You needed customers. That's what started the YouTube channel. The quality was not there, the gear was not there, and I could have stopped there thinking that I can't do this. I don't have a good camera, I don't have good equipment. I'm in a tiny little room with the washing machine right next to it. I can't make videos. I did anyways, and you can look back at these old videos, that's how it started. And I just kept doing it, saving money to get a better camera, a better microphone, a lot of trial and errors, but I just kept building that customer base. It was very slow first, eventually it grew. And then I started thinking about the product itself. What could that product be? For a lot of us, that might be teaching. For me, that's what it was, and I was already teaching on the side. But it was not within that entrepreneurship mindset. In order to bring that teaching element, the product, into that entrepreneurship world where I want to produce a high quality product and sell it for the most amount of money possible, my idea was to duplicate that product. What I mean by that is that I didn't want to duplicate the hour lesson times 100 to make 100 times more. If I went that route, I would be stuck in another job. I would not be free of the time that I enjoy today. So instead of doing that, I started recording my lesson. I knew that it was possible because anytime a beginner player would come to me, I would always start with the same thing. How to tune your guitar, simple coordination exercises, intervals, that kind of stuff. And it was always the same thing. So instead of teaching it hundreds of times, I would teach it once and hopefully sell that 100 times. That was the first action that I took towards that entrepreneurship mindset. And that was really life-changing because today, anything I do is pretty much directed by that philosophy, that way of thinking through things. In the last 10 years, I was able to refine that and really develop my system, a system that worked for me. And that's what allowed me to work 2 hours per week, maintain a good income, and on the side practice my instrument, do the things that I like to do. So when I say work 2 hours a week, that's actual work in front of the computer, changing things, designing things, producing better course, doing emails. I don't want you to think that the rest of the week I'm just sitting on the couch playing video games. I'm always thinking about refining that system, always thinking about that question, how can I produce the highest quality product and sell it for the most amount of money? There's so much more that I would love to share with you, but I'm not going to right now. It would take hours, and it's a very interesting subject to me. Leave your questions below. I'm happy to answer them. And also, I created a Facebook group page where you can join if you want. Just make a request. It's actually a group that I started a little while back, but I'm going to make that open to anyone, whether you are currently making money with your music or just have the idea of doing that. I'm doing that because I want to create a community of musicians who can encourage each other, offer each other tips, and just uplift each other. I think we can make it all together. There is a way for you to make money and live a fruitful life with your art. I really believe so. And I'm going to leave the link below. Just ask to join. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it if you did. Share it around. I'll talk to you very soon. Thanks for watching this. I'll see you next time. Until then, salut.